It's time for a special interview here on Morning Wave in Busan. You know, whenever we flip over the page of the calendar, we might fall into a familiar trap. We might attempt and subsequently fail at following through with many of those ambitious resolutions that we recently set. And so today we're going to be talking about time management with Brad, I hope I say your last name correctly, Aeon, researcher at John Molson School of Business at Concordia University. Hi, thanks for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes. So in your research, it says that getting good rest makes you actually more productive, helps you work better. And here in Korea, peak summer vacation time is really kicking off this week into next week. So can you tell us why rest and why vacations are important?
They're extremely important because the more you work, the more it's taken a toll on your body and on your brain. And so you need a certain amount of rest on at least a weekly basis. That's why we have weekends. That's why we have evenings. And vacations also allow for a longer a better amount of recovery. And we need to recover to reduce stress, and most importantly, to prevent burnout. Job burnout is actually becoming a true medical condition right now. And so, working a lot without resting at all, that can lead to other health issues besides stress and burnout, especially for men. The number of work hours tends to be correlated with heart conditions for men working over 50 hours a week.
Well, thank you for explaining that. And in terms of time management, some people want to really jam-pack their vacation and do many, many things. Others tend to want to kind of relax, take it easy. What's your idea of a well-managed vacation in terms of time management?
I think the most important thing to do while on vacation would be to completely disconnect from work. And that means not checking at least your professional email, not taking any calls from work, trying not to think about work, no contact with bosses or coworkers. I know that some people try to schedule their vacation almost to the minute, and that also could be stressful. Because even if it's leisure time, if you schedule it too rigidly, that could make vacation feel like work, which kind of defeats the purpose of taking vacations in the first place.
Right.
And so during the vacation, I would say disconnect from work. Try not to schedule a time too rigidly. Try to do different things. That's very important, especially if you want to be productive when you get back to work. Try to do different things. Get exposed to new ideas, new people, new cultures, if possible, if you can afford it. Try to do new things in general, because that really takes your mind off work.
Well, what about this whole thought in terms of vacation, going somewhere abroad or even within, your country, going to a different region versus a staycation where you kind of, don't go anywhere far but still kind of relax at home. Are there any real differences?
Not necessarily. I think the most important thing not to do is what some people call workcation, where people deliberately go abroad to a different destination to work. They would go to some kind of, beach or mountain or lake to be exposed to a different environment to potentially boost their productivity. But in the end, it's still work, and it's not really helping in terms of recovery and stress reduction. Going abroad, especially if you can't afford it,
yes,
I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's great to be exposed to new ideas, but you can also do that at home. Read a new book, talk to different people. We spend so much time working that we don't realize that we're not even talking to, some of the friends that we have.
Yes.
Sometimes in months or years.
Well, I believe in another interview, you said that even if it's short, it's better to take frequent vacations versus one really long one. Can you expand on that idea?
Because we have human bodies, essentially. So if you've worked the entire year, or if you work nonstop for, say, 5 years, taking a few months off is not going to offset that. That's not how the body works. It's not linear.
Yes.
It's like if you 72 hours nonstop without sleeping and expect that 3 days of sleep will make up for that. That's not how the body works. If you work nonstop, that's going to take its toll on your body, on your brain. So that's why regularly it's good to take at least a mini vacation. I'm talking about 2 or 3 days. Like get out of the city or take a break from work. Yeah, I mean, and the more frequent they are, the better for your overall mental health and well-being.
So if, for example, during the regular year, aside from your summer vacation, if we went on, let's say, like a short weekend getaway, that would still help us.
Yes, definitely. And in fact, there's a new study that came out, I think, a couple months ago that said that the best way to take advantage of weekends is to treat your weekend like a vacation, essentially. So try to do new things. Because doing the same thing over and over again every weekend, that's not particularly pleasant, and it's not particularly conducive to recovery.
And when we think of time management, people have a tendency to kind of plan how much time we can use productively to squeeze things in, and as you say, to have a really rigid schedule. Is that necessarily the best way to be productive? Maybe you can tell us about your idea of what good time management is.
I don't think there's one best way to manage time, but managing time for productivity purposes only, I think that's a terrible way to manage time, just because it's not good for you. It's not good for your relationships. And believe it or not, it's not good for the environment either, because to be productive, we have to use a lot of services. Think, for example, of if you want to save time on commuting, the plane is the best option, but the plane is not the most environmentally friendly option for commuting. So I think that time management, rather than being for productivity purposes, should be a reflection of your values. The more you schedule, what you do with your time every day should be a reflection of what you want out of life. And for a lot of people, I really doubt that productivity is their number one goal in life. I know very few people who, on their deathbed, would say, I wish I was more productive.
I see. Yes. Great point that you make. So what do you think we should be focusing on instead? You already mentioned reflection of our values, reflection of what we might want in life. Any other things we should be focusing on other than just sticking to a schedule?
I would say try to diversify the activities that you engage in. A lot of people, because of time management, tend to think about work and work only, or just work and family.
Yes.
That doesn't make for a particularly rich or fulfilling experience. There's so many other things you can do in life, and they're not necessarily expensive. In fact, many of them are free. Spending time with friends, going to the museum, going for a walk, reading a book, all these things. The surveys show that people tend to engage less and less in those activities, and that it really makes for a more impoverished life, so to speak.
I see. Well, in terms of here domestically in Korea, when we think of vacation time, at least for our students, that actually means more headache for them because they're really busy with extra studies, going to academies, taking extra classes, preparing for exams and whatnot. So what would you say to students and maybe the parents of students listening today in terms of having a meaningful vacation and not trying to cram too much into a short span of time?
You're young. Make the most of it. Honestly, I don't know about Korea. I know that a huge problem that's going on right now, at least in the United States and parts of Europe, is that teenagers and young adults are becoming more and more depressed. And one of the main reasons is college admissions, because university admissions are getting more and more strict and competitive.
Yes.
They have to compete against a lot of other people, and that means more time spent on homework, more time spent studying, and less time spent on hobbies, on spending time with friends, on having fun, on sports. And I don't think that's what teenagers should be doing. I mean, they're young, they're healthy. I don't think that spending their whole time studying is the best use of time.
I see. Well, any last words you have for our listeners who are very keen and interested on how to manage time better, but also to be healthy physically and mentally?
Structure your time. It's important because very often when I tell people that time management for productivity is not a good idea, they often think of the opposite, which is not structuring your time at all, not organizing your time. That's not what I mean. Okay. What I mean is at least impose some kind of order, some kind of schedule on your time, because not having any kind of schedule, that's equally stressful, if not more, because you're lost, you're hopeless, you don't know what to do with your time, and again, that's not going to make you happy.
Well, thank you so much for your time and expertise on this issue. Take care, and once again, thanks for joining us. Once again, this was Brad Aeon, researcher at John Molson School of Business at Concordia University. We talked about time management.